Hi everyone. So this is the first time I will be meeting a fantasy author in person. As some of you probably know already, I live in Indonesia and this kind of opportunity doesn't come often. And today we have this handsome guy who just got hitched. Okay, it's Ryan Cahill, yeah, the author behind the Bound and the Broken series. So Ryan, how's Indonesia?
It's pretty cool so far. He's my I was about to say wife to be, but she is my wife now. Is sitting in the background going, "This is our honeymoon. Come on."
Yeah, I think she's disturbed by this.
Nah, she's cool. She's cool.
Nah, she's really cool. She's really cool. And yeah, today I will be talking with Ryan Cahill for just a while, and then after that we will go somewhere. But now I will ask him to sign this special edition again. Yes, because all my copies of The Bound and the Broken has been personalized by him. So this one I will ask him to personalize.
Mostly to do with Choco Boy.
Yeah, maybe you can sign this for Choco Boy.
Okay.
Choco Boy will be happy, you know. I don't think he's happy that I'm leaving him for a while to go here.
He's about as happy as Amy is sitting over there.
Choco Boy. Yeah, so this is really cool. I think some of you who are watching this, if you live in the US and UK, I think this kind of opportunity do come a bit more often to you. Woo. But this kind, for me, is really rare. And ta-da!
Choco Boy, be good to Petrik.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ryan. This is my first ever signing in person.
And it's actually to his dog, so.
Hey, I already got mine. So Ryan, what do you think about, how do you feel about all your special edition? Do you feel very satisfied with it?
I'm pretty damn happy. I don't know why I'm looking at the microphone. I'm pretty damn happy about it. It's kind of come out better than we ever could have expected. The quality of the printer we went to was just fantastic. Like it really came out so good. Even just, it's going to sound weird, but even just rubbing the
that's real cloth bound, right?
The real cloth bound, like real gold leaf. Yeah, I'm pretty happy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I'm pretty happy with it. I made a video about it, about this, and I think this is a very high quality at a very affordable price. Usually, special edition do cost much worse than this.
Just 3 or 4 times more.
Yeah, yeah, that's really expensive, and I think this is for its price. It's absolutely amazing. And you know, you're still making profit, right, from this, right?
Yeah. Like as I was saying to you earlier, like we kind of, myself and Matt and the Broken Binding, we're making enough profit that we're happy. Like we could push it and make more, but we don't need to make more. We want to make enough that we're happy and it's worth our time to produce, but then people can afford it. So
yeah, I think that's really fair attitude, and I love that. Also, one of my patrons is asking you, want to ask you, how many books will be in The Bound and the Broken? Because initially you mentioned there will be 5 books, right? 5 novels. And is there any change to that?
No, I think so. I think it's going to be 5 novels, 4 novellas.
4 novellas.
Yeah, and I was actually only recently talking to some people earlier that I now have 4 more series planned in the world. Totally disconnected from this storyline.
Okay. Oh, yeah. But it's in the same world.
Same world.
Oh.
So I kind of want to go back to the first time the humans landed in Etheria. So like, 4,000 years ago. And then I want to move forward another 1,000 years to when the Order's kind of at its height. I want to do stuff like that and kind of like really flesh it out and go back and have, storylines from some of the lineage of the characters, like the ancestors of the characters that we have in this book and stuff. So,
but this will not happen until you finish Bound and the Broken.
No, we'll finish Bound and Broken. Yeah, that's a commitment. That's done first.
And I think the next one from you is The Ice, right?
Yep, and that's finished. And I actually have a very cool illustration on my phone from Felix Ortiz.
Already?
For The Ice. And it is now with Sarah, my editor, and then hopefully we're probably going to see it, at least arcs, pretty soon.
Oh, very soon?
Yeah.
Yeah, I will be getting one. You have to send me one, okay? Yeah. And after that, Ryan will start working on Empires.
Yeah, well, I'm going to start working on Vampires in Dust pretty soon, as soon as I'm back from the honeymoon.
Do you think this one will be bigger than Of War and Ruin?
It can't be. My printer literally will not print more pages. It doesn't go bigger, so I will run into a problem because Amazon don't like to list like dual versions or dual volumes of books. So it cannot be longer. I think it's probably going to be around the same or a little bit shorter, but I think it's probably still going to be in that kind of big doorstopper region.
How long did it take you again to write Of War and Ruin? I mean, it is massive,
About 9 months.
9 months?
To 10 months, yeah.
Amazing.
So I'm hoping to have the first draft for Vampires in Dust done by the end of February. That's my target.
Yeah, so that's your target.
Yeah.
I think Ryan is very ambitious.
That's the longest between the books. So far, it's only been about a year between the books. It was March for the first one, December then for the second one, and then the third one came out in January. So that's like a year and half a month.
Yeah.
But this one, if this came out in January 19th, was A War and Ruin, and so I probably won't finish the final draft for the fourth book at the end of February. So that's a year already. So it's probably going to be about a year and a half between the releases, which is the longest I want. But with the honeymoon and stuff, I did not have the time.
Yeah.
But yeah. Amy would have killed me.
Yeah. How hasn't she killed you already?
Don't put the thought in her head. I would have killed me.
So before we end this conversation, I will just ask Ryan to rank his own difficulty at writing each book and which one is his favorite, because he has written 3 novels and 3 novellas. Okay.
As I said, yeah.
Yeah, 3 novellas. Yeah. Okay. So we will start from Of Blood and Fire. Which one would you rank this in difficulty and favorite?
Okay, so
I'm basically asking you to choose babies. Okay.
Yeah, no, well, I'd probably put A Blood and Fire as my least favorite. Just because when I go back and look at it, because I've grown so much as a writer, when I go back and look at it, I see so many flaws that I could easily change now. If I wrote A Blood and Fire now, some of the small writing quirks and flow and things would be different. So that's definitely my least favorite if I were to go and read the books. As soon as I get to Of Darkness and Light, I enjoy everything way more.
Do you find it to be harder to write?
No, Blood and Fire was easy to write. I find that's probably one of the easiest. I'd say that I'd rank that as number 2.
Number 2?
As the easiest. So second easiest to write. Probably.
The first one?
Yeah, because it was pretty easy to get the flow.
Okay. How about The Fall?
The Fall was the easiest to write.
The Fall?
Yep. That was just quick.
And you wrote that after Of Blood and Fire, right?
So I technically wrote the first 2 parts before Blood and Fire. And then the second 2 parts after Blood and Fire, because the first part of The Fall was initially meant to be the prologue for Blood and Fire, and then when I wrote it, I went, nah, this isn't a prologue, this is a bigger story, and then pulled it out, wrote a new prologue that made more sense, and then turned this into its own thing.
Yeah, and also speaking of The Fall, I think one of the things that you have done for The Fall, and I think this is quite industry changing, because a lot of people are following your tradition on this, because you made The Fall free, right?
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of that now.
Yeah, there's a lot of free prequel novella, and I think that is amazing what you've done there.
But it's a great thing, because it's good for authors and it's good for readers, because it means readers can get a free, kind of quick taste of the world.
Yeah.
It's a low risk commitment.
Yeah.
And then an author then, the readers coming into their first book already have a taste of what they're getting.
Yeah.
So you're more likely to have readers who like your work already coming into your first book. So it's
Yeah. And after The Fall, we have quite a big one. This is for me, it is a significant upgrade. It is for Of Darkness and Light. Where would you rank this one?
I would put Of Darkness and Light as kind of middle ground. So it was harder to write than A Blood and Fire in The Fall, but not crazy hard to write. So that was fine. And then I'd probably put it as so probably third most difficult to write. And
third?
Yeah, so as in, I'm trying to think. Yeah, it would have been A Blood of Fire. I'm trying to think now. Yeah, so the easiest was The Fall. We're doing this in a weird way. So the easiest was The Fall. Next was Of Blood and Fire. Then was Of Darkness and Light.
Okay.
Yeah. And then as my favorite books, from what we've talked about so far, it would be Of Darkness and Light, of the ones we're talking about right now, Of Darkness and Light, The Fall, and then Of Blood and Fire.
Yeah. And for me, Of Darkness and Light is probably, it's not second, it's third favorite as well. Because my favorite, some of you may know, is Of War and Ruin. But before we get there, we need to talk about a very, very incredible novella first, and then it is The Exile. So for The Exile, which one would you rank this?
That was actually, so I'd probably put that as my second favorite overall.
Second favorite.
For reading. But so far the most difficult to write of what we've talked about so far.
Oh,
so
really?
It was more difficult to write than Of Blood and Fire, Of Darkness and Light, and The Fall.
Why?
Because it's weird. It's like imposter syndrome. You're writing this story that some people might think is kind of irrelevant. It's not really relevant to the main plot. You don't need to know it. And it's difficult to sit there with a novella and go, do people want to read this? What am I doing here? And you kind of sit there and it's hard, and it's mentally draining, because you pull yourself away, and it's hard to write sometimes because you're going, is this a waste of time? Like, is this a waste of time? And for quite a while, like, The Exile would have taken in money, but because I had it so cheap, I really wasn't making anything from it. And now it's starting to earn itself back, and it's much better. But I love the book. It was just hard for me to write.
Yeah. I definitely love this because Dane is my favorite character. Ryan knows it. I talk about Dane all the time. Yeah, he's my favorite character, and I'm really glad that novella exists. I think it fleshed out his character.
I'm just going to say in the middle of this is so weird seeing you in person, but we'll continue.
Yeah, I know. It's weird for me too. Yeah. And then after that, we arrive at the final book. It is the final book so far. It is Of War and Ruin, and this one is a massive. It's more than 430,000 words long.
437.
Yeah, 437,000 words long, and I assume this is the most difficult to write.
Yeah, most difficult to write, but also my favorite. So it's most difficult to write. It nearly broke me multiple times. The book is so long that I probably hit burnout like 2 or 3 times when writing it, because I wrote it over 9 months. Actually, probably it was less than that, because I'm also counting in the time it then took to publish from when I started writing. So probably only wrote it in about 6-7 months. But
insane, man.
But I was writing a lot, like every day, 7 days a week, like thousands and thousands of words a day. At one stage, I'd written nearly 200,000 words in 50 days, which is a lot. Amy is aware because she didn't see me for quite a while. That was it was a very hard book to write, but a very rewarding book to write at the end, because for me, when I read it, it's finally the point where my writing is at a place where I'm really happy with, and then the characters are starting to hit those places I really wanted them to hit, and I was very happy with Of War and Ruin.
It's definitely my favorite. I made a video about it already, and I think it is amazing. If you haven't read The Bound and the Broken yet, definitely give it a try, especially if you love Dragon Rider and classic epic fantasy that is told in a modern style. It is incredible. And right now, he's almost done with The Ice.
Yep.
Yeah, The Ice is the next and the newest novella. After that, as I said, he will start working on the 4th and penultimate installment of the Bound and the Broken series. And just as like a teaser, what can you give about the Ice here?
Well, if we're putting it on the rankings we just did, it's mixing it up with like The Exile and The War and Ruin for me, because I tried to do a totally different thing. And from a difficulty perspective, it was difficult to write, but not as much as The War and Ruin. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. The whole thing for me is The Ice is about going to get the egg. I think a lot of people know that, but it's about a hell of a lot more than that. And it's a real deep dive into Aeson as a character, what drives him, why he's doing what he's doing, and also can shed a lot of light on why he has done what he has done in the series. And that's kind of that's what makes these kind of novellas hard, is you sit there and I'm like, okay, how do I write a novella about guy goes, gets egg, comes back with egg, and how do you turn that into what is now a 55,000 word novella, which technically past novella 15,000 words ago.
That's not even a novella, right?
It's a novel. It's a very small novel, but it's a novel.
Yeah, it is a small novel.
But I'm actually really excited for people to read this one, because it's quite different to what I've written before. And so what I try to do with all the novellas is do something that I haven't done with the rest of the series. So there's more bits of like a dash of horror in there, and it's a lot deeper into Aeson, and the themes are probably a lot heavier than in some of the other books. Whereas like in The Fall, I kind of did everything you're not meant to do with a novella. Novellas are meant to be like, to make them tight and easy and quick reads. It's meant to be like, one POV, one place, one time, keep the narrative tight. And The Fall is 4 points of view, which is like the total opposite what you should do. And then I go to The Exile, and that's spread over 12 years.
Yeah.
And so, I've kind of messed around at what you're meant to do. So hopefully that comes through again.
But it worked.
But that's the problem, is I don't know it works until like it goes out. People go, that was good.
Yeah.
I'm like, cool.
Yeah, so I think that's pretty much it from us today. And by the way, I haven't said it, but right now, Ryan and his wife is in Indonesia.
Yeah.
In Bali. Yeah, they're having honeymoon, and I'm just crashing the honeymoon right now.
He's also sitting on a cushion to make himself look taller.
No. So. I'm definitely as tall as Ryan.
He's quite literally sitting on a cushion.
Yeah. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. And I just want to say thank you so much to Ryan and Amy for allowing me to interview Ryan like this.
She's just sitting here staring at us with a knife in her hand.
Yeah. He's not lying. Yeah, I think that's pretty much from us today. And thank you so much for watching our conversation. And if you haven't read The Bound and the Broken yet, definitely give it a try. Okay? Bye-bye. Lastly, I want to say thank you so much once again to all my patrons who keep on supporting me.